In only a couple years of professional disc golf, Gannon Buhr has gone from being a rising star, winning major titles, to being sued by his main sponsor, facing lawsuits and backlash from a brand, back to winning on the biggest stages, all while facing scrutiny from the public. Whether you're a fan or not, his career so far has been worthwhile, both on the course and off, and it just got a whole lot better. The Gannon Buhr Saga. Enjoy. "2023 started out about as weird as it could for both Gannon Buhr, who was a top-ranked disc golfer, and the company he repped, Prodigy Discs. In February of 2023, Gannon would announce that he was leaving Prodigy. No announcement was made for further sponsorships, just that at the time, he would not be continuing with the company. The 2023 Pro Tour season was about to begin, and as somewhat of a shocker, Gannon was leaving the brand. Not dropped, not an agreed-upon departure. Instead, Gannon was breaking his contract, citing multiple reasons why Prodigy had failed to keep up their side of the demands. This would all become public when Prodigy, just a few days later, would sue Gannon Buhr for leaving the contract. A lot of things were made public regarding the reasons behind it all, but this was a first for disc golf, at least publicly, that a disc golfer had left a contract and the company chose to sue them for it. Quality issues, unpaid bonuses, and signature disc issues. There's quite a bit into it, and as the season started, Gannon was still out there throwing Prodigy. Until May, just a couple months later, that it was announced Gannon Buhr would finish out his contract with Prodigy for the 2023 season. Settlements were not announced, just that Prodigy had officially dropped the lawsuit and that Gannon had agreed to finishing the season. He did his mandatory posts, threw the discs he had to, and won a lot. He had an insane season, winning 5 times on the Pro Tour, and doing it in style. Gannon had only increased his stock from the year prior. He had shown that it wasn't a fluke that he won USDGC, but that he could win week in and week out. That he was a true top contender, and that if any disc golf company wanted to have a player to promote their brand, then Gannon was a great addition to that. He's the future. He's 18 years old, looking like he's going to be a part of the top for a while. And then 2023 came to an end, and we all waited, ready for what came next for the top-ranked player. January 1st, Gannon Buhr would announce his departure from Prodigy Discs. After completing another full season with the company, he would finally have his separation, and he wasted no time on getting this announced. January 1st, boom, the news was released. It had been rumored. Obviously, after looking at his entire 2023 year, it was a possibility that he would be leaving. Maybe some thought that things had been mended, and that Prodigy would be willing to step up and counter the offers that were coming Gannon's way. But that's not what happened. Gannon Buhr, both on his YouTube and Instagram, would announce that him and Prodigy were going their own separate ways. He thanked Prodigy for the past 7 years of sponsorships, and that he was moving on. But, as a lot of real disc golfers noticed, his announcement video had some nice teasers in the script.
At this time, I need to make the choice of a champion.
Choice of a champion? That would be Innova.
To continue to be the leading edge in this sport.
Leading edge? That would be MVP.
I'm a dynamic player, and I believe I need to reinvent my game to be the world leader in disc sports.
Dynamic player? I'm gonna go with dynamic discs. World leader in disc sports? Finally, that's Discraft. That's about all the big dogs in the disc golf arena, or at least those who are willing to pay out superstar contracts. I would have loved for him to make that video and jam-pack every single disc golf company's motto in there, like the sound of disc golf, that's Clash Discs, or maybe the better way of living, which is Castoplast. How about when quality matters, that one's Latitude. It would have been funny, but honestly, I'm happy with the way that he made the video. I feel like I've seen or heard of this somewhere else, but I can't really remember. He's gone from Prodigy, and that's all that matters. He may have hinted at his future, or maybe the rumor mill may have led you to believe where he's going. But for the real disc golfers out there, we knew where Gannon Buhr was headed. January 13th, 2024, just 13 days after announcing his departure from Prodigy, Gannon Buhr would now have a new home, Discmania. The news wasn't shocking, it wasn't that far off from what most of us thought, but it was nice to finally see the announcement and the joy from Gannon having a new main sponsor. Discmania investing in the younger talent of the sport, looking to rebuild its brand by adding in Gannon. Now at the time of making this video, Discmania has just lost its main face of the company, Eagle McMahon. And then last year, it had just lost Simon Lizotte, two big stars who used their YouTube channels to help grow the sport alongside the name of Discmania. Now that Eagle and Simon have moved on, it would seem Discmania is investing in the younger talent of the sport again. For those who are familiar with Alden Harris, another Prodigy-sponsored player who left that brand and is at this moment, alongside Gannon, joining Discmania. His vlogs include a wider range of different players from the tour, but the bond between a couple of those guys who come from Prodigy has spread into one of the best channels on YouTube for disc golf. Gavin Babcock, who left Prodigy last year for Discmania, is one of those players. So is Gannon, who also is now at Discmania. Regardless, a lot of these younger YouTube talent moving towards Discmania, the future for the brand seems pretty clear. Eagle's gone, Simon's gone. Do you just sign players for what they do on the course? Or do you sign some of the biggest names that alongside their playing abilities, they also are able to push the brand on their own? Alongside the possibility of the new vlog squad coming over, you have Silas Schultz and Casey White who are making videos on their own channels and who appear the most in the Discmania videos as well. But back to Gannon, it's been a long 2023, and now 2024 is starting off fresh. As a fan of the brand and a fan of Gannon's, I'm super excited for him to start repping the Shield. Gannon's shown that he's a leader in the sport of disc golf, that on the course he can look unbeatable. He is a championship winner. He's a major title holder, and looking like the future of the sport. Now, he has a fresh start with a brand new company who he isn't in a lawsuit with. 2024 is going to be a good year, I've got a feeling. Looking at Discmania as a whole, who now represents them, they lose Simon and Eagle within the last few years, both players who pull big contracts and require a lot. Now they have Gannon, Gavin Babcock, Alden, Casey, Silas, and as a lot of the news seems to have forgotten, Kyle Klein. It is probably a little weird from his perspective where the company is calling Gannon the future, but Kyle Klein's future is just as bright. From the company's side of things, probably spending a lot less money for the players they have signed and hoping in turn to change those younger stars into the new faces of the company. One storyline ends while another one begins. Now we look to 2024 to see whether or not this team that Discmania has built will be a masterclass.